Greetings. Welcome to Nature's Bounties. Let's have a word of prayer as we continue with a special topic at this time. Let us pray. Thank you, dear loving Father, that we can call upon you and that you can always answer and help us. Thank you that even at this time, this topic that we want to take a look at will make meaning to us, and you give us the strength to take up the best that is good for our body and to glorify your name. This is our plea in Jesus' name. Amen. Welcome again. There are many health enthusiasts out there today. Many are looking for ways to improve their health, and it's a good thing. But then there are times when things are taken out of hand and extremes can happen. When is it likely that we go into extreme? One thing that we may look out for is when we are looking for fast results, quick results. Supposing a person is trying to bring down an excess weight and the person wants it done within a very short time, it's very likely that such one will go into extreme. So let's be careful with what we see and the fads that are going on, and we look at them closely so that we make the best choices for our health. One of such fad is juicing. Yes, a lot is going on about juicing. Oh, I'll just juice this and drink, I'll juice. Well, is it good for our health? How should we do it if it is good? Let's take a close look. There are many information out there that can help us. I like to do research. I would like to know what those that have taught me in school, what they have taught me, their literatures and so forth, and then those ones that are coming up and saying many things. Plus, because I'm in the practice, I do come across a lot of questions that people put to me. How about this? Is it good for me? How about this? Can I use it? And if I should, how should I use it? In the case of juicing, is juicing good or is it bad? If you begin to investigate, you'll see that some say, yep, go for it. Some say, no, don't touch it. How do we work with it to be sure that we get the best out of fruits and vegetables? Because that is where the issue of juicing comes into play. One thing that is necessary to know is that from what sources can we get the best of the nutrition that we need for our body? Yeah, that's the basic thing that we need to know. Yes, we can get a lot of phytonutrients from natural foods like fruits and vegetables. They are loaded. In fruits, there are some nutrients, and that's why they are called phytonutrients. Nutrients are found in plants, and they are not found in any other but from those sources. And they are so much needed for our bodies. And also, more and more literature in health are telling us that one of the primary causes of cancer is lack of fruit and vegetable intake. And that we need up to at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. 5 servings meaning 5 cups at least. And 1 cup is 8 ounces. 1 cup is like the container that they have the animal milk in. Usually they comes in 1 cup. So we need at least 5 to 8 of that from some literature to help our body remain in health. So consuming a lot of these is easier to consume when we are able to blend or juice them, because then we can just drink. So that is one thing and one reason why juicing is a blessing, because we can get those phytonutrients very quickly. So when one is sick, natural healthcare practitioners often recommend the use of juices. For instance, recommendation of 5 to 7 cups of carrot juice per day is a wonderful way to reverse several degenerating problems that several individuals are going through in our world today. Now, we have also found that if a person takes a lot of fruit, which many are saying, no, don't do, but which actually helps the diabetic to eat fruit, especially whole grains with fruit for breakfast. But if a person who has diabetes should juice those fruits and drink, It does not benefit the person. In fact, it can work in the opposite direction. It can be a problem in the body. So if I eat my fruit whole, it's better than to blend it or to juice it. But there are circumstances or instances that if I blend or juice it, then I'm able to mix it with like dry cereals. And there are dry cereals that are healthy. For instance, there is a cereal we call granola, made of oats, baked with some sweetener like dates. Very nutritious and help us to have something dry that we can take for breakfast very quickly when going to work or going to school. So there are benefits, and there are others that do not give us as much benefit or can even have adverse effect in our bodies. The example of the diabetic is given, rather to take whole fruit than to juice. Now, I found out that if I don't tell my clients that eat fruit, and I emphasize it, I have to, because experience have taught me that if I say take a lot of fruit, the likely thing is that they will be juiced, and then it can be detrimental to the health rather than have the benefits that we want it to have. So it's better to eat primarily. Let's establish that one first and foremost. It's better to eat our fruit whole than to juice it or to blend it. So that is basic that we need to know. Also, we need to know that once we juice our fruits, we concentrate the sugar content. And that is why some people, they don't touch fruit, because they juice it and they drink. Then if we juice and drink, we drink without mixing the content with our saliva. There are a lot of carbohydrates in our fruit. And if carbohydrate is not mixed with saliva in the mouth before we swallow, it is not properly digested in the stomach. The enzymes that will break down carbohydrate are produced when we start chewing our food. And therefore, all the carbohydrate, the process of digestion starts in the mouth. If it did not start that digestion in the mouth, it is no more properly digested. So there is a big problem in that. If we juice all these things and do not eat them as we should. Like all other beverages, it is healthier to eat than to drink. Yes, we will get a lot of antioxidants apart from phytonutrients. They are not the same thing. The antioxidants are those that help to fight the cancer cells. And we are told by scientists that we have 1,000 to 2,000 cancer cells bombarding our body on a daily basis. Without these natural antioxidants to destroy these scavengers, these free radicals, then they will have time to develop, have time to destroy other cells around them, have time to become a tumor. And it takes some years before tumors are formed. That means it takes some years whilst we have not been taking enough antioxidants for cancer cells to develop. That's one theory that is making a lot of sense to many natural healthcare practitioners. And when put into practical use by doing what? Given the antioxidants, they have found that you can help all of these health problems very well if the person stays on the program and starts on time. If these cells have not destroyed the organs of the body too far before realizing that we need to do something to take care of it. Again and again, I must put in, there is nothing that can replace the water. Nothing can replace water, because we must have water, even when we are on juicing to help one situation or the other. For instance, if a person is placed on a juice therapy, which means the person will not eat solid food at that time, and only the raw juice will be taken, it is still alternated with water. So an hourly juicing, for instance, will be alternated by a cup of water after every 1 or 2 cups of the vegetable juice or the fruit juice. And then herbal teas are also added that will help the health condition to have the best benefit possible. So when we are looking for the best source of phytonutrients, antioxidants, we can look to the juicing or the blending. And I need to tell and show the difference between the two. Now, when we juice, we separate the entire fiber from the juice. That means we finish up juicing and what we have is devoid of its fiber almost entirely. But there are some juicers that are able to do the job better than others. And it will take some investigation and some window shopping to get the best ones that will help to get the best juice out without getting rid of all of the hiding nutrients behind the skin that we remove in the fiber. There are those ones that are able to press down and as if it were just manually pressing the juice out, are better than those who they call the centrifugal mixing and bringing together of the vegetable or fruit, and therefore destroying some nutrients that are present in these natural foods. And of course, we must get definitely non-GMO organic vegetables and fruits. Plant by ourselves if possible, because that is the best way to be sure, and that is if we don't get the wrong seeds. We have to start from getting the right seeds. There are some people that are still able to keep seeds that are open pollinated and that they can still help to plant what will help the ground, the nature, and not the ones that have been altered one way or the other. So all of these come into place because without antioxidants in our body, one, cancers have time to grow. And then the problem of Alzheimer's is another problem that have been identified with poor fruits and vegetable intake. And many have been helped by the juicing. Then if we juice, as I said, we choose which of the best machines, and there are many of them available now because there are many people who are very enthusiastic about juicing. And therefore, they are bringing out many sophisticated, wonderful juicers today. It would be good to begin to do some literature search, find out the good ones in the market, and then compare by watching how they work and then seeing the benefits of them, as we need sometimes the juicing. Now, if we get a blender and we just blend the vegetables or the fruit, we do not get as much benefits that we want as in juicing. But nevertheless, we get the whole fruit and we are able to use the entire fruit instead of separating them and getting rid of the fiber. But it's always good that when we juice, that we still use the fiber. Either we can use it to bake crackers. They would do well if we add the fiber from our juice. So what is the difference? How do we know which one to choose? Primarily, the reason and the differences are what are the goals that we want to achieve? Do I want a reversal of a health problem and to begin to have the cells get back to life very quickly? Then I need a juicing of the fruits or the vegetables and the vegetables. But if I need a good food and I just want a smoothie, as many people call it, which it is, and they take it, it would not be good to just make a smoothie and drink a smoothie and go out to work. No. It digests very fast. The likely thing is that we're going to take a snack because it's not enough food. It is better when we blend for the sake of just having a good nutrition, or we use it to replace animal milk. When some people are transitioning from using animal products to natural products, they use a lot of smoothie as milk for their dry cereal in the morning, or even for the wet cereal too. Because supposing you make a cereal made from any of the grains that we have, like the guinea corn, the millet, or the oats, then blending bananas or apples, pineapple, and add to that cereal will sweeten it, make it tasty, or just slice bananas into it. Either way, then you know that you're having a good breakfast. Then a few nuts, a handful of nuts added to it will make a good breakfast that will last and will be digested gradually, which is what society needs today, because we are in a hurry and we want to eat in a hurry. But we can incorporate healthy living to the fast life that many of us have to live today. Although it's not the best, we should slow down. But if there is a need for us to get fast, then we should still choose that which will help our bodies. Because after running up and down and we break down, then what? What is the essence? What is the use of all that we have gone to achieve if what we are going to do is to use the money to try and repair the damage we have done to our body? Because if this house is destroyed, where am I going to live? If that house is destroyed, where will the person live? We must do everything to keep it in good condition. So we can have enough energy for the day throughout the morning, because that's when we use energy the most, the morning hours, especially brain energy. We don't realize sometimes that we use a lot of energy when we are doing brain work. Oh, we use a lot of energy. That is why our brain takes up to 20 to 25% of the oxygen that enters into our body, because we use a lot of energy with our brains, and usually in the morning hours. That is why our breakfast should be the most, in terms of being delicious, yes, but should be enough to nourish the body, bulk enough, which means our fiber should not be missing. But if we quickly take what people call bread and tea, it's not going to last us for the morning hours, for the brain work that we are doing, or even the physical labor that we do. So those who do physical labors are not the only ones that require enough bulk in their food for breakfast. That is why some people say, eat like a king in the morning, like a prince in the afternoon, that is lunch, and a pauper in the evening, that is a poor man in the evening. Because what do poor men typically eat? Dry things, dry bread, although that's not what happens sometimes, really. But we should eat the best meal for breakfast. And what's the best meal? The best meal is lots of fruits. So if we are not taking enough fruits, a good idea is to blend our fruit or juice our fruit, but add whole grains to it. We should not just drink our fruit and run out of the house. We should use it and complement it with a whole grain. That is when juicing and blending becomes healthy. But if we drink it alone, no, it is not healthy. In helping those with heart disease, Esselstyn taught that, and I believe he's still teaching that. Do not use juicing. Reversing heart disease, he recommends no juicing at all. And that is why we see that some people say no juicing. And why is that? Because when that is done, most people who do it do not eat enough. They drink the juice. The juice is not well digested because it is not mixed with saliva, in which is what will digest the carbohydrates. They enjoy it and they feel good and they feel okay, and then they think they have taken breakfast. No, that is not enough breakfast. The likely thing is that they will look for something sweet like the snacks to keep going during the morning hours, and then before lunch they have eaten several times, which is not right if we are trying to work on staying healthy and being healthy. So the health benefits are there, but then the side notes to tell us that if we don't do it right, they are there so that we don't miss out on any of the benefits. So when we look at the pros and the cons of juicing and blending, yes, high nutrient dense beverage in a small amount of liquid. That's what juicing and blending will do for us, because they will just bring it small. If you have a bowl of pineapple, blend it or juice it, and what you have, smaller quantity. So a nutrient dense beverage very quickly is given to us by this method of processing our food. However, when we do juicing, we should not forget that we lose the fiber. That is very important. And losing fiber over a long time will give us the problem. One problem that it will give is bowel movement. And then our bowel movement is not good enough. Oh, train of other problems, because as Dr. Mammon Wilson says, and I like to quote his material, that the mother of all diseases is when we do not have good bowel movement, because it's when problems start. So when we make smoothies, that is, we blend our fruits, then we keep the fiber. But then because we have made it smoother, the likelihood is that we'll swallow without mixing it with our saliva. So it's necessary that we add some cereals to it that will help us to eat the smoothie. Nuts, seeds also added will help us to get more nutrition, and then we are still able to have the phytonutrients and the antioxidants that we want. And then, of course, when we blend, it's going to be thicker. Then it's going to stay a little longer in our mouth compared with juicing. So either one that we choose, whether fruits or vegetables, it is not good to mix the two together. For several persons that are having digestive problem, mixing fruits and vegetables together in a smoothie may make their problems worse, but they may not realize that that is the problem. Different enzymes digest fruits and vegetables. So when they are mixed together in the same meal, then for many it is difficult to digest, and it's a problem of indigestion. A lot of gas will be produced and so forth, discomfort, heartburn, and so forth may happen. And yes, to prevent excess sugar, if you do not want to have excess sugar, or if already there is excess sugar in the blood, then this method of eating our vegetables and fruit, especially the fruit, will not be good. For those who have problems like diabetes, sugar is already too much in the blood. So when juicing or smoothies are used, then the concentration of sugar is high. And this, I say, may be the reason why some have totally rejected the use of fruit. But it should not be the case. We should eat the fruits in this case and eat it with some fiber so that we can enjoy the benefits of it. There are many green vegetables that we can juice, from spinach, cucumbers, and cucumber is good, it's both fruit and vegetable, so cabbage. And in some places where the climate encourages the growth of kale, these are wonderful greens that can be juiced. How can I forget carrots? Very good. And then some beetroots, some call it beets, some call it beetroots. And then the red one, loaded with so much phytonutrients that can help us. And then the fruits, the citrus, the oranges, the lime, the lemon, the big ones, the small ones, and all of these ones, they help us to have these nutrients that we need to use. And then, if we do not have the means to get a blender or a juicer, that does not mean we cannot juice. And in some countries where electricity is not so constant, it will not be a good idea to wait and not be able to enjoy the benefits of some vegetable juices. We can still have the enjoyment that is derived, the benefits, especially the health benefits that is derived from these vegetables. And that is for the fact that the Lord has given us our hands. They can do a lot of juicing for us. How? We get our green vegetables. It's not all that can be easily juiced. For instance, it would be difficult to juice cabbage with the hand. That would be very, very difficult. Some people do have local stone that they can use to grind. Well, I mean, the tough vegetables may be the difficult fruits that are, I mean, when I say difficult, I mean tough to be able to use the hands and stone and so forth, or hand grinders. I've had to use that many times in needing to have vegetables reduced to blending stage or states, and juicing may be a little difficult. Now, when that happens, I've had situations where I have used a hand grinder to grind hard vegetables like cabbage and then mix it with some cucumber, which has some juice content, high juice content in it, and then use a sieve or a colander, as it's called by many, to separate the fiber from the juice. That can be done. Nevertheless, the hand can also be used very effectively. There are some vegetables that can be easily juiced with the hand. When that is going to be done, as we will do for the ones that we blend or juice in the machines, is to wash properly with a little bit of salt in the water to wash off all the dirt, the dust and everything. Rinse properly again with water, and then with no water inside it, begin to squish and squeeze the vegetable until the water content is separated from the leaves, and then filter it and drink. And that is a very easy way. In fact, if we want the juice of some vegetables for therapeutic purposes, it is better to squeeze and squish and bring out the juice with the hand than with a blender. Why? Because in a blender we will need to add water in order for the blades to move. But when we use our hands, we need not add water. We drain off the water by washing it off, and whatever liquid is still left in it is what we use to juice out the green vegetables, especially the green leaves that are easy for the hands to juice. We can extract this juice easily with our hands, and then we can filter with a sieve and then be able to have as much as we want. If we want a quarter cup, about 2 ounces of green vegetables, we can have it easily when we do it with our hands. Dandelion leaves can be easily juiced with the hand. Bitter leaf is another leaf that can be easily juiced with the hand, and some others that one can juice with using the hands. They are very effective. So when we talk about juicing and blending, yes, there are benefits. Yes, there are problems. Once we know what we want to do and how to get there, then we choose the best that is for us. And if we can afford to get the machines, why not go for it? So that when there is a need, especially in ill health, we can go ahead and use the machine and get the juice out very quickly. And then on a daily basis, it's good to have some green juice once in a while, especially with our lunch. That will help us to keep in health. The Lord will bless us as we continue to search out how to make the best use of the things that God has given us in nature. And this is where we'll stop for now till we meet again by the grace of God.